Hey everyone, before we begin, a quick note. We experienced some major technical and audio issues during sessions 1 and 2, which caused a few parts of the audio to be hard to follow and there was a robotic noise. So to make it easier, we've included the brief introductions to our world, the great houses, and our characters just to get you up to speed. Fortunately, session 2 was largely combat heavy, so you won't miss much if you jump straight to session 3 after this. In the world of Crishdana, the winds of war ripple through the land. Tensions rise as the flourishing, magically advanced nation of Savorin pushes into the rugged expanse of Hedgarath, seeking resources and something more. Rumors swirl of ley lines waiting to be tapped into, ancient and potent, lying beneath the country's most sacred landmarks. Now, Savorin soldiers have begun their slow occupation of Hedgarath's southern territories, stirring unrest across the provinces and forcing the great houses, once strained by old rivalries, to set aside their grievances in the face of a looming threat. At the heart of this unfolding storm, the ruling house, House Saveth, has called upon its bannerlords, requesting each to send a worthy representative to the capital. The world stands at a tipping point. Survival, dominance, and identity hang in the balance, but the true battle will not be fought on open fields. It will unfold in the unseen corners of power, where cunning words, hidden blades, bold prayers, and unlikely alliances shape the course of history. But war has a way of revealing truths long buried, reshaping the hearts and minds of those who stand at its edge. It is here, in the capital of Frenhold, that the call for unity goes out. Vael Tharvirian of House Virian and Ashendar, Leaf Keldbor of House Keldbor in Keldbor, Alina Bulgarin of House Bulgarin in Rivni, Nira Pyrolith of House Pyrolith in Tarashna, and offering up a champion of their own, Raylan Saveth of House Saveth in Eris home. Watch as their story unfolds. In session 1 of Embers and Arcanum, we started in Hedgarath, where young champions from the great houses gathered at House Saveth's private residence in Frenhold. Summoned discreetly under the cover of night, they arrived to find familiar faces, old friends and new allies uniting. Their meeting took an unexpected turn when Sister Katrin Skaldun of House Skaldun in Hulvik arrived with her latest notes on the northern regions of Savorin, hinting that the nobles may soon have business behind enemy lines in Hedgarath's rising conflict with the magically advanced nation. First, however, they faced a smaller test, a disruption in livestock supplies from Kaldbor to the south. Knowing Savorin forces had already moved into southern Kaldbor, the party decided to carefully time their arrival with the setting sun. Their destination, a ranch in the Kalddun Hills, where they hoped to check on House Saveth's acquaintance, a Goliath farmer named Olia. Upon arrival, they spotted smoke rising from the farmland and cattle wandering loose. Alina recognized this as a sign of a magical substance reacting violently, something she had seen go wrong during her training with the Sisterhood. Taking a stealthy approach, the party observed a group of apparent foreigners boring a hole into the earth, vials scattered around the site. Playing a charade, Vael and Alina approached, claiming they were looking for Olia's party. A young man in fine navy and maroon robes, weaving magic in his hand, warned them that Olia was not there and insisted that they leave. While keeping the men engaged in conversation, Alina activated her magical amulet and gleaned the words Project Seeker from his mind. When the young man threatened to attack if they advanced further, Vael decided to act. In Session 2 of Embers and Arcanum, our young nobles found themselves face to face with mages and soldiers of Savorin, who have been steadily pushing into Hedgarath. This encounter gave them a grim taste of the battles yet to come, as they discovered more about the ongoing war. Despite the heavy blows dealt by a Savorin soldier and his young mage companion, the party proved themselves a formidable team. They swiftly reduced the enemy's numbers, but things took a chilling turn when Vael threatened one of the lower-ranking Savorin guards. The man bit down on a capsule hidden in his mouth, ending his life in an abrupt and shocking display of loyalty or fear. The group's final opponent proved to be the toughest yet. With quick thinking, the nobles knocked Darien, a Savorin soldier, unconscious before he could follow suit. They managed to dislodge a similar capsule from his mouth, preventing another fatal escape. While searching the area where the foreigners had been digging, the party recovered more capsules, a small journal, some coin pouches, and noticed familiar traces of magic in the disturbed earth. The group brought Darien inside while they checked on Olia, a cattle farmer Goliath, and an acquaintance of House Saveth. Olia welcomed their presence, grateful for their efforts in dispatching the invading soldiers. With Vael's imposing demeanor and Alina's truth-telling and telepathic magic, the group pried what little information Darien knew about Project Seeker out of his mind. While his knowledge on his overall task was limited, Alina managed to extract the name and face of Darien's commander from his mind. An elvish woman noticed Crishdana, and Vael convinced Darien to point out some occupation sites on Raylan's map. Afterward, Vael ended Darien's life, and the party aided Olia in restoring order to her farm before setting up camp for the night. It's a chilly evening late in the season of Amberan, the first of Earthrest, and the province of Ashendar is in full preparation for the coming cold months. At the edge of the foothills, near the towering peaks of the Thunder Crag, sits a manor overlooking the bay. The facade of Wormcrest Manor, once a formidable fort, bears the marks of time and neglect, its stone walls scarred by past hardships and the effects of looting. Yet, the bones of the structure remain solid, and with a gradual infusion of care, the manor has begun to emerge from its abandoned state. The closer one draws, the more the manor reveals its quiet resilience. Hewn stone softened by the touch of restoration, freshly oiled hinges, and lanterns glowing warmly against the growing night. Inside the manor, motions of the evening, hard-working hands move about, extinguishing candles and securing windows against the incoming frost. The black marbled floors, rich with veins of bronze, stretch across the hallways, and a young tiefling woman stands near the entrance, overseeing the housekeeping staff. Her yellow skin glows in the dim light, her large, curled-back horns casting long shadows against the stone. Wavy lavender hair tumbles over her shoulders. A sealed envelope is tucked underneath her arm. As she stood there, a half-elf clad in armor approaches, a sword resting at his hip. Thalric, tomorrow we need to discuss increasing security measures. Thalric's posture shifts, an eyebrow raising slightly. Something I should be concerned about? Lyria tilts her head, her gaze sharp. You can never be too careful. And Master Varian is the last of his lineage after all. But right now I suspect he'll be taking a longer leave than usual. Thalric barely has time to respond before she pivots on her heel. The envelope shifts in her grasp, and with a steady clack of heels, you hear echoing against the stone. She moves with purpose, making her way through the quieting halls toward the back of the manor, leaving Thalric to his nightly duties. Minutes pass before Lyria reaches her destination, two grand stone double doors. She presses against one, stepping inside, being greeted by a wagging tail and the dancing of paws from a husky who immediately moves out of her way to let her pass. The room beyond is bathed in a cool glow of the moonlight. There's a large pool, a hot spring on one side of the chamber, and the air is thick with the scent of damp stone and faint traces of lavender oil from the warm, gentle steam flowing out of it. Her gaze sweeps the space, searching for the master of the house. Jinx, would you like to introduce your character?
Yeah, I would. Sitting in the stone tub carved around the natural hot spring, his arms up on the sides of it as he stares out into the Thunder Crags to the north, is a tall, slender, elvish man. He has medium-long, bronze-tinted blonde hair, much of it sort of pulled back in a messy ponytail. He has these striking blue-green eyes, sharp, handsome features, and bronze dragon scales adorning parts of his body, including the back of his neck, his arms, his chest, and notably very thickly across his forearms. He sips on a glass of wine as he looks longingly into the stormy peaks of the mountain. He makes no motion to look or to cover up as he hears someone enter. He just casually sips at his wine and waits for Lyria to express her intentions.
She closes the door behind her. She doesn't even seem put off that you don't acknowledge her presence, really. She walks over so that she's kind of casting a shadow over you, and she goes, well, I would tell you that everyone is almost gone so you could relax for the night, but I see that you've already begun. And she's kind of holding this envelope so that you could see a seal on the front of it that has an oak tree with a four-clawed raven hooking onto the top of it.
Well, I did have a very long day, but it looks like you're about to make it longer.
As if I have any control over these things?
I mean, you control most of my life, my household, my funds, my business practices, pretty much everything I experience on a day-to-day basis. What's one more house?
I've been told that it's for your eyes only, though I imagine whatever is inside will impact me as well in some way. She hands it over to you, and she kind of takes a few steps back.
All right, well, Vael takes the envelope and sort of gives it a once-over before breaking the seal and pulling the letter out.
Inside, you find a summons for the 7th of Earthrest from the Saveth house. You are to arrive at the Saveth estate after dark. A champion and representative from your house must arrive alone, and be sure that they arrive quietly and careful to be unseen. It is signed Lady Eris Saveth.
Well, this is just about the weirdest proposal to marriage I've ever received.
You think that's what it is?
No, obviously it isn't, but she's clearly playing games. She wants a champion from my house to arrive. I don't have a lot of options, do I?
Well, maybe the courtesy to pull something out of your sleeve, though.
Well, this could be a good opportunity for us.
Shall I prepare the house then?
Yes,
for your
please.
departure?
She did want us to arrive under the cover of dark, so I think I'll just take Tempest. I will leave the carriage here.
All right, well, we've done without your presence here before, and we will do so again.
Yeah, you might want to increase the guards' patrols to Kelton. I think that there's going to be trouble in my absence.
I'm already on it.
Of course you are.
Just like Valric, she turns, leaving you with her echo of clacking heels down the hallway. And we kind of pan over the thunder crags that are looming in the distance, out your window, over the mountain, to a much different place. Rivni, the northernmost province, was a land of deep forests and long winters where the first snow often came before the harvest was fully gathered. The people were known for their endurance, their hands calloused from generations of labor, and their hearts slow to warm to those who took shortcuts in life. Markivka, the province's capital, was a city of sturdy stone buildings and timbered halls where the scent of pine resin and wood smoke lingered in the air. Its spires and domes stood against the ever-gray sky, a testament to the province's resilience against both time and the bitter cold. At the heart of Markivka stood Zimni House, its walls a mix of aged stone and wood, built to last rather than impress. Once a winter retreat for a noble lord, the manor had been granted to House Bulgarin centuries ago. The interior was warm with earthy hues and more adorned than the exterior. It's the kind of place where the crackling of the hearth never ceased. Yet even with every fireplace lit, it had never felt colder. A funeral had passed, a last rites spoken, and the gathered nobles and officials had returned to their lives. The house was quieter now, yet its silence did not bring peace. Instead, it rang with the absence of Danilov. Alina had felt him more on her journey home, the whisper of him in the falling snow. But here within these walls, where he had lived, ruled, and laughed, it was as if he had been wiped away. Through the tall window that overlooked the courtyard, you could see Alexei Bulgarin. He had stripped off his formal morning attire and now moved freely, sword in hand, practicing drills against an unseen opponent. His strikes were quick and controlled, but there was an edge to them, tension released in each precise movement. Perhaps he had found a way to grieve. Inside, the air was heavy. The feeling could settle over your shoulders. Elizaveta Bulgarin sat in the high-backed chair near the hearth, still wrapped in morning black, her hair neatly tucked up. She had stern, though very delicate, facial features. She was quiet for a long moment, her fingers lightly tracing the embroidery on the armrest. And finally she spoke to her daughter. The Saveth house has sent a summons for a champion. I do not know the nature beyond that, and as we both know, Alexei cannot afford to spare such a time with your father gone. But we also know that he will try to volunteer, and we can't have that. And she turns finally to look at Alina. Jamie, if you'd like to describe and introduce your character for us.
Yeah, Alina is average height. She has long, very light blonde hair. She is in black mourning that is of a different fashion than the highly embroidered clothing of her mother and brother. It's simple, looks like it might be from a different region. It doesn't fit her exactly, as if she had to borrow this mourning wear. Her posture is perfect, but if you look closely, you can see how heavy what's happened is weighing on her.
I think you and I both know that it'll be you going.
Yes.
We are done with mourning after all.
Are we? So soon?
The appropriate time has passed.
Seems as though it would be time for me to return south anyway.
Yes, well, the sisterhood has been more of your home as of late, hasn't it? I'm surprised you even remembered how to be a Bulgarian.
Is there anything else you need, Mother?
No, that is all. Perhaps you should pack your things or have one of the help do it for you.
I can take care of it.
Over the next little while, as you pack your things and get ready to leave home once again, almost as soon as you had arrived, really, you begin to head south. You are riding with your horse, Briar, steadily along the main road toward the capital. But before you leave Rivni, your attention is drawn to a small secluded path branching off to the west. There, hidden in the shadows of overgrown trees, you spot a sleek black carriage with a jet black horse standing at rest. You'd recognize this to be Mother Ona's carriage.
I'll pull off down the path.
You're free to make your approach to the carriage, and it opens just slightly to allow you inside. As soon as you are inside and settled, you see Mother Ona. She's dressed in all black and just a very tall black hat that her hair is all tucked inside and a veil. She waits until you are fully in, closes the door behind you, and says, "So, I was correct then, and you will be summoned to the main house."
Yes, I've been sent to represent House Bagarin.
Good. I would like you to continue to represent your household to the best of your ability. And while you're working with the other houses, keep an ear to the ground. This would be a very good example of how you could use your political training. It's always well for a woman of your status to know who is making alliances, who's planning marriages, and what deals are being struck behind closed doors. Pay attention to the whispers about the future, who's aligning with whom, and what they're offering in exchange. And she just places one hand on your knee and then removes it. We'll be in touch. And as you make your way out of the carriage and back to Eris' home, we move once again to a completely different region, Tarashna, southeast of Rivni, where the desert seems to stretch endlessly. Golden dunes rolling beneath a sky tinged with the warm hues of dusk. Where the sands should have continued unbroken, a tower rises out, the Sunspire Citadel, a place of worship to the sun god Isharel. Impossibly high, it stood as a sentinel against the shifting earth, its stone carved with great openings that allowed the winds to flow through. helped along by the air genasi who worked there, allowing the air to shift during the heat of the day, cooling its sacred halls. As night fell, the desert's natural chill swept through the citadel, carrying with it the scent of sand and distant desert blooms. Unlike most spires, it did not taper to a point, but instead into a flat plateau, casting a long shadow over the city below, its shadow moving like a great sundial as the day passed. Nestled at the citadel's base, a city, Falzir Oasis sprawled outward in a labyrinth of alleyways and market streets, where voices of traders and travelers blended with the scent of spice, sun-warmed fruit, and sizzling meats. To the south, at the city's edge, the oasis shimmered, a striking contrast to the arid land beyond. Its waters stretched just far enough to brush against the upper reaches of Drados, and along its shore, dark wooden vessels bobbed gently, their bows carved into the likeness of beasts. As the sun dipped below the dunes, the great flame atop the Sunspire citadel flickered to life, a beacon to guide the night. Not far from its glow, in the house Pyrolith compound, the air carried the scent of saffron and cardamom. The home's sandstone walls bore intricate accents of turquoise, catching the last traces of daylight as a cool breeze drifted through the open archways. Inside, a man stood in his kitchen, dressed in fine but light, comfortable garments. His skin warm as the desert itself. His hair was short and white on one side, and curling into amber red on the other. He slid an envelope across the table with practiced ease where his daughter sat. Nira, he said in primordial. His voice kind of like carries this crackling cadence of embers. Don't think I haven't noticed you hesitating about your future. His gaze was very steady and stern, but it wasn't unkind either. You've given yourself fully to the temple, to our house. So when you hold back, I see it.
Nira is a young fire genasi. Her skin darkened by the desert sun. And she has these glowing marks where the fire breaks through occasionally. Her hair is thick and wavy, and it streams down in darkness that ends in like the firelight. And she looks conflicted as she looks up at her father. Baba, I know what is expected of me. I will always do what is right by the people.
He kind of looks half expecting that somebody is lurking around the corner, seeing no one. Your father, a little bit of a smile plays out his lips as he looks at you. You might expect a lecture, but there's a reason your mother and I have had 3 children and not just one heir. You know that, right?
I'd rather not think about your love life.
That's just it. Love. I was lucky in the match made for me. And so if you need time, perhaps the rings of life have aligned just so for you. Once again, his fingers kind of tap the envelope before he moves his hand to let you take it. There is it seems it's a secret summons to House Saveth. They need aid in the war. I don't want to send my daughter, but you're also very capable.
And technically the only one of age.
Yes, for now.
Are you surprised they asked for us?
It's been some time since we had an opportunity to make amends for some of the things that Hedgarath seems to look down on us for. And it doesn't seem like they are asking for us to send you to the front line, though they are being very cryptic about what exactly you will be doing. And if they're only asking for one person from the household, I can't think of anyone who embodies our house more than you.
We'll go, Baba.
He's going to lean in and he gives you kind of like a kiss on just like the top of your head. You have a couple of days before you'll really be pressed for time to leave. And you know your brother's not going to be happy that you're leaving.
Oh, no. He will not be.
Your father moves out of the kitchen. You haven't even really opened the envelope yet, but whenever you do, he's pretty much given you all of the details at this point. And he heads to bed for the night. And whenever you decide to head to bed for the night, you are not greeted with an empty room.
Mm-hmm.
Tanir, your brother, is sitting on the edge of your bed. Tanir is a few years younger than you are. He has kind of it's like a side shave, but there's like little flickering embers that come off every once in a while if you pay attention. And most of his hair is kind of long in the center. He has dark skin and not anywhere near the level of markings that you and your father have on your bodies. And he's it's like he's trying to keep himself in place as he grips the edge of your bed, but you can tell that he really wants to say something to you. No way you're leaving before I have to go out on my trial. You said you were going to see me off, and now I'm seeing you off. What if I come back with something stupid like a piece of wood?
People have come back with things like that.
Yeah,
It's not stupid.
Yeah, but not you. You came back with something cool and epic. I'm probably going to come back with a flower that you could get like an hour away from here.
You must have faith that Ishura will guide you to whatever you are meant to find.
See, that's why I need you here. Can't you just, I don't know, stay?
When they call, we must go.
Does that mean that I get to be in charge, though, when I come back?
You will be responsible for your brother.
So he has to do what I say.
Did you do what I said at his age?
I wasn't that bad.
I remember a visit once from a young noblewoman. I remember you burst into our room while she was changing.
His hair, like, sparks with so many embers, and he, like, stands up, and he's like, all right, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do these things alone.
The trial must be done alone.
I suppose that's fair. And you going early might prep me for that.
You can handle it.
I'm gonna miss you. And he kind of just leaves the room very quickly before you can say anything else.
Oh.
You are left with a lot of information that evening, but also maybe a little bit of relief in some aspects. And we head now to the southernmost region, Kalddun, a rugged and landlocked province, was shaped by its harsh geography and its people's resilience, dominated by the Kalddun Hills in the center. An expanse of wind-carved ridges and rocky, barren terrain that also hosts some very enough vegetation to house the many cattle that they have. This landscape is unforgiving, shallow soil, unsuitable for farming, and the region had become dependent on mining and trade. Kalddun's isolation and position along the border of Savorin made it a hub for ambition and some criminal activity despite the best efforts of the Goliaths to maintain order. The road leading into the heart of the province grew increasingly treacherous as you approach Bastion Keep, a fortress carved deep into the mountain known as the Gullet. The keep loomed over the land, its massive stone doors standing as a symbol both of the province's strength and the rigid authority that governed it. The further you near the fortress, the more a young Goliath felt the weight of the eyes upon him, curious, calculating, and judgmental. Once inside of the keep, the halls were vast, the doors so large they seemed to swallow the air around them. Even some Goliaths towering at 7 to 8 feet tall felt small in the face of its overwhelming size. The decor had shifted since this particular Goliath's last visit. Richer tapestries, more refined furnishings, yet the cold stone atmosphere of the keep remained. The silence in here was palpable, broken only by the echo of your steps as you passed along corridors towards the dining hall. As you reach the hall, massive double doors creaked open to reveal Berglamir, Leaf's father, sitting at the far end of the long stone table. The air was thick with tension, the only sound, the faint crackling of a fire nearby. The room seemed to grow even larger in the presence of this Goliath, his broad frame and ink tattoos telling the story of his many feats. He stared at Leith, his gaze unflinching, his expression stern as ever. Well, if it isn't the runaway son, Berglamir's voice cut through the silence, low and biting, offering no greeting. It was a statement, not a question, as if the very act of Leaf returning was an offense, despite being invited here. David, would you like to describe what we see at the doorway?
Yeah, as Leaf walks into the doorway, as he's been walking past many of the guards and staff of the house, and a good half a head shorter than most of the people around here, still at over 7 feet tall for anyone that's not a Goliath. He's built very leanly. He's kind of lanky. Not particularly muscular, but what he does have is toned. Kind of shaggy brown hair that comes just past the ears, and a beard that's just a little bit longer than 5 o'clock shadow. His nose is slightly crooked. It's like maybe it's been broken once or twice and not reset correctly. Looks up across the room. Well, I'm here. What do you want?
Mm-hmm. You vanished without a trace, and that's the kind of tone I get. You couldn't even have the decency to send a letter or even let me know you were still breathing.
Thought I'd give you something to do.
You think your sharp words will cut through me, boy? You're not the first to try, and you certainly won't be the last.
Not really, but it's fun for me. So we can stand here and trade insults all day, or you can tell me why your goon who tracked me down threatened my sister to get me back here.
He takes a envelope that is next to an empty plate on the table in front of him, kind of tosses it in a way that it slides across the stone towards you. House Saveth have called for a champion from House Kalddun, and have chosen you. You'll make me regret it.
You wanted me for this? You've never trusted me with anything before in my life, except for meeting that one delegation from Crishdana, and you know how that worked out for you.
Do you want that inheritance of yours? You do seem to think you can do a better job with all of this than I can.
I like the tapestry. That was a good choice.
That was your sister.
So I just have to go to some meeting or whatever, and you give me a bunch of money and I never have to see you again? Is that how this works? Or
I don't think it's going to be quite that simple. You'll have to step up to whatever it is that they ask of you and do a good job, represent us well, do something useful for once, or disappear again.
fine. I don't know what your game is, old man. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to beat you at it, but guess I better get going to Frenhold then.
Before you leave, you shouldn't go through the Kalldun Hills.
And
The occupation is spreading that way, so unless you want that kind of trouble on your hands, I suggest you go around.
The long way it is.
You just turn and leave.
Anything else?
That'll be all.
I walk away.
Yeah, you head out, and you kind of have the option of going like really around if you want to actually stop and spend nights in some of the towns along the way, or you could kind of just cut through and carve your own path that isn't on any of the roads while still avoiding the Kalldun Hills. It's quite a trek for you, but you're used to that sort of thing.
Yep.
And as you are maybe a day or two along in your journey, you do see a plume of smoke coming up from the Kalldun Hills. We go to the landlocked province, bordered by all of these other powerful provinces. It is a place known for its fertile lowlands and rolling hills. On the outskirts of Frenhold, the capital, lies Saveth Estate, a striking presence. The great manor stands tall, its stone walls reflecting the legacy of the house Saveth. Just outside, an ancient oak tree stretches its gnarled branches towards the sky, symbolizing the family's endurance. Behind the manor, nestled among manicured gardens, sits Hearth Hall, the private residence of House Saveth. This sanctuary is a blend of beauty and purpose, offering both comfort and warmth to those within. The atmosphere here is warm and inviting. The crackle of the fire, the clink of silverware, the chatter of family fill the air. The room is modest but refined, with dark wood furniture crafted from the rare ashen wood, a gift from Drados, held only by House Saveth and the royal family here. The Saveths, with their fair skin and dark hair streaked with premature grays, sit around the table, a familiarity in their presence bringing a sense of comfort to the room. Lady Eris Saveth, composed yet relaxes at this family setting. She presides over the table. Her brother Solus sits beside her, and Varric, their heir, leans forward, his brow furrowed in thought. Sonia, ever the playful present, rests her feet on the table, a smirk dancing across her lips. The meal carries on as they converse easily, the warmth of them filling the space. But then, as the fire crackles softly, Eris's voice rises, carrying a weight of authority. In 2 days, we meet with the other houses, she says, her gaze flicking to Varric before her tone sort of softens. I think it would be wise if House Saveth had its own champion attend alongside the others. Varric, I've been giving it a lot of thought, but with you being next in line in our already shaky lineage, I don't think you should be the one to accompany them. His frustration is very evident on his face. And he almost like stands up, but then he stops himself. But I was raised to lead, to fight, and now you ask me to remain behind. Who then is gonna go on our behalf? Surely not Sonia. Sonia removes her feet from the table so quickly and raises a hand to her chest in mock offense, like, Hey, that's fair. Actually, that's fair. Beric's just like, you didn't want to go anyway. And as they start bickering back and forth, it sort of fades a little bit as they catch Eris's gaze, who has fallen on their cousin, who is seated across the table from them, Lady Eris's niece. And the room quiets as all eyes fall on Megan. Would you like to describe your character to us and introduce her?
Sure. So Raylan's a young woman in her early 20s. If she was standing in this moment, she'd be about average height with tone yet feminine build and soft, kind, delicate features on her face. Her light bluish gray eyes are framed by a dark blue rim on the outside, giving them a striking depth, kind of similar to a glacier, how it can change in tones. Her shirt is a white linen. It's loose, but it comes tight at the wrists. And then over that, she wears a sleeveless coat of light and dark blue jacquard woven with an elegant print of oak leaves across it. On the shoulders, as is the Saveth fashion, she has the raven feathers. And she is most known for being the only member right now that has purely gray hair. It wasn't always that way, as many people have met her at different points in her life, but now, unfortunately, at such a young age, she's gone completely gray as her hair falls across her shoulders, half pulled back. She kind of sits up in her chair, casually sitting before, but once being called upon, sits up properly, looking at her aunt.
You've taken your time at the Sisterhood more seriously than your cousin Sonia. Sonia again is just like, yeah, I mean, like everything you guys are saying is true. But it's not just that. You're strong, capable, and I think this will require a mix of strength and tact. But I also want you to know that you will not be forced to go. We care for you. And her eyes kind of flick to Solus, who has raised you for much of your life now at this point. And Solus nods and adds, we have other options.
I would hope that you would consider me above those options.
Of course. We just don't want you to feel like you have to.
I don't. As long as Varric's okay with it, I'd be perfectly fine doing it.
Varric looks uncomfortable, but you can see him kind of working through a thought process. He's very much the type who thinks before he speaks, and when you mention him, they all kind of turn to him now, like in unison. Goes from you to that him, and he's just like, I suppose that it wouldn't do our house any good if I stepped down and went. I've had the most training under Aunt Eris. I want you to know that I don't like this, though.
Oh, I'm well aware.
And, okay, maybe you've won the last couple of fights that we've had, but I think I've got the next one. So I feel like the strength when weighing these things, and you can tell now he's kind of coming around as he takes on more of a playfulness. And as you guys are having this conversation, the door creaks open and an older man, his hair's kind of, his brown hair's kind of messy and kind of half like tied back, but not quite. He's wearing full armor and he has a kind of tattered cloak wrapped around him, his shoulders. Eris looks up at him. Garrick, sorry to disturb family dinner, but I have it on good authority that everyone is on their way now. Eris nods, and they again all kind of glance over at Raylan, and he kind of picks up on that. Did I feel like I've interrupted something, but Eris is just like, no, we picked our champion. We decided to go with that. Garrick is just like kind of torn for a moment. He walks over to Raylan's side of the table, places a hand kind of like on your, like between your shoulder blades, looks down at you. Well, it's about time you didn't need me anymore, huh?
I'd like to think, though, that you've at least prepared me.
I'd like to think so, too. It'd be pretty embarrassing if you came back dead.
I'll try not to.
That's a girl. Gives you a light pat. And you can see that he kind of glances at the table a few times where you guys just have this amazing spread. And Varric picks up on that, and he's just like, family dinner, he says, and Garrick like immediately drops all of the like pretense and sits next to Raylan, and you guys go back to having a dinner. This kind of has a little bit of a different air to it, knowing that something big and unknowable is currently on the horizon for you. We pick up on the 7th of Earthrest. The sun has long gone. Only half of the lanterns that are normally lighting the front of the Great Manor are currently lit at the moment. It looks very sort of intimate and very much like it's closed. There is no light coming from the inside, which is an unusual state for you to arrive at this place in. I would like all of those who are arriving at this place to just roll initiative. We'll see who gets here first. Okay, well that's interesting. Alina's dex is higher though. Makes total sense. Leaf, you arrive at the manor here. Actually, when you arrive, I'm gonna have Raylan. You're kind of waiting at this large oak tree when Leaf arrives. Are you doing anything in particular that he might notice upon arrival?
She's probably, I assume there's like a little bench under the tree, and she's...
Yeah, there's it's very well cared for, and it's made to kind of be sat around and kind of conversed around, so there's definitely somewhere to sit.
She's probably actually sitting on the back of the bench seat with her feet on the part where you sit, just really casually trying to see the best vantage point if someone's coming. She wants to get that extra foot or two to see them. However, I feel like it's very easy to notice Leaf approaching. And the minute that she sees someone coming, she just like, and like scurry down off of it, stand beside it, and kind of just like make sure her clothes look appropriate and she's standing as prim and proper as she can, and just waiting for him to approach with a welcome.
How does Leaf approach?
I think he just walks up casually.
Hello. You are...
Leaf Kaldbor, representative from House Kaldbor.
Wonderful to meet you. Welcome to House Saveth. I'd like to thank you for coming along on my aunt's mission, and hopefully you can feel comfortable here on your stay. Have we met before? You look familiar, but I don't think we have we?
No. I don't look particularly familiar to me.
I have met others from where you're from, so I could just be mistaking you. The height makes everyone kind of...
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Not to insult you.
That's fine. Is there anybody else here yet?
You are the first, but I assume that's because your legs are so long.
Probably.
And just as you guys are saying that, you hear the clopping of horse hooves, and then, like, not that long after, more clopping, but it sounds distinctly different from a horse. As first Alina arrives, and then shortly after, Nira.
Alina?
It's been a while, Raylan.
You look phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Age has done you well. Has the sisterhood done you well as well?
It has. I'm having to count on my fingers to remember how many years in character. No, 7 years, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
What brings you here? I mean, obviously, you're here for the purpose, but why you?
My brother's a bit busy now. He's the new Lord Bulgarin.
Yes, I did hear that. I'm sorry.
Thank you. You know, I haven't seen a Kaldbor in a very long time. Somehow he's even taller.
Alina?
You know, I think last time I actually saw you, rather than seeing you sass your cousin back and forth via letter, weren't we running away from a rock slide or something?
I've never seen anybody move so deftly down a sheer rock wall before or since. Do they still call you Cliff Dancer?
Oh, Siggy still does. Yeah, well, we do manage to write.
Are you related to Siggy?
Yeah, she's my cousin.
Oh, I love Siggy.
Does everybody know her?
We went to school.
Okay, yeah.
Everyone knows Siggy.
That sounds like her.
Yeah, and then shortly after, was it a mule that you're riding?
A desert mule.
Yeah, a desert mule comes
Significantly cheaper than a horse.
Naira, it hasn't been too long since I've seen you.
Yes. Oh. She gives a very deep bow. I am very sorry to hear about your family.
It's okay. It's been a while. Wounds have healed.
I She points to the other two. I recognize both of you. Yes? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
You're the only Goliath I've ever met. Stream Rider. Yes.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
The other one has walked away.
How was it? You were on some sort of pilgrimage, right? Yes. Or
Yes, to the Hollow Heart.
yes, how did the rest of your visit go?
Oh gosh, that was a long time ago. It went well.
Good.
Your high priest is interesting.
Speaking of interesting, another figure can be heard coming up the driveway as Vael comes in with his horse and his dog, I assume.
Here's the intro.
Much to the dismay of what the Saveth family may have wanted, drawing all the attention is Vael riding along on his horse. No cloak, wearing a very fine green and gold tunic, open almost all the way to his navel. He's wearing this really cool crystal vial around his neck that looks like it has a red liquid floating within it. Walking along beside him is Chinook, occasionally barking at things he sees, and and every time, instead of scolding him, Vail's just like, "Good boy," and tosses him a shred of meat that he's eating off of a chunk that he's carving up with his dagger. Lady Saveth, good to see you.
I should have known you would get involved in this. Should have known you'd make an entrance, even though the mission specifically said unseen.
I'm afraid that there's just nothing I can do to go unseen.
You've never seen eyes roll so far back into someone's head.
Well, now that you two have met, that's wonderful. I hope we can get along.
Oh, Alina and I go way back. We'll be fine. He hops down off of his horse and just walks up and very nonchalantly sticks his fist out. Leaf?
If I'd have known we were both going to wind up here, I'd have saved myself the trouble of heading home first.
Yeah, it would have been more fun traveling with a companion, although it looks like we may be doing so with several over the near future. Ah, Nira, didn't see you there.
Hello, Vael. You know, you could wear a cloak. That might help.
Well, I thought about it, but it
But
just
then
got
he'd be
so
so
warm up
upset
there.
that no one could see his face. And
Wasn't that the point?
yes,
Things this side of the Hedgarath are strange.
no, it's.
I
it's
apologize.
just a Vael thing.
I assure you, I took the utmost discretion up until entering the grounds of the Saveth estate.
Ah, so you had to make an entrance.
That's what I do.
I did learn from the best.
Yes, the sisterhood, right?
Yes.
Just
I more so meant my mentor, Garrick, but either of you could choose which one. It'll be you it is.
I think we're all very good at what we do. That's why we're all here, I assume.
That's a
as
great
you guys
question.
are kind of chattering and catching up, you hear another as Chinook notices someone else approaching. From around the side of the house, you see Varric, who's he's in his early 20s, has brown hair that is also like sort of, you can see signs of graying on just like the sides of his hair. He has a very similar mantle of feathers on his shoulders that Raylan is currently wearing. And he carries himself very confidently, though he doesn't seem ever like he's looking down at anyone. And he kind of gives you guys a bit of a bow as he closes the distance between you all. Oh, good. You're all here. We won't be meeting in the manor today. Instead, you guys are all welcome to our private residence, Earth Hall, in the back. We wanted to draw less attention, and we often have to report anything that's going on when we have meetings at the Great Hall, so you'll follow me. And he kind of leads you out to the back, and it is like, even in the dark, you could see that this wand is just gorgeous. Everything seems like it's chosen with care. There's a kind of cobblestone path that doesn't even really have any grass growing up in between it, like as if it's very meticulously cared for each day. And you head down this path for maybe a good minute or two, and you see Saveth. You see the private residence of the House Saveth in the distance. You see all of the warm glow of the light coming from within it. You're free to chat amongst yourselves, but Varric is very quiet as he leads you through to the house. He even goes in first and then kind of holds the door, waits for everyone to come in, closes it behind. Chinook is the last person, or the last creature inside.
We got her. Chinook is a druid.
Your horses and your mule are kind of taken around to the side of the house where there's a stable. And you're standing in this very grand entryway. It's not like over the top. There isn't grandiose displays of like metals or gems or like fine paintings are not a thing. It's just very well made and cared for.